Well, hello everybody. How you doing? Dave Fennoy here, and it's another Wednesday, and that means Ask Dave Fennoy Anything, 6 p.m. Pacific, which it is 6 p.m. on the dot. I'm here on time. One of the things I like to be. How you doing? Whoa, Hoss, how you doing? You're the first one on today, and congratulations on your shop there. Mark, I love your posts, my friend. Very provocative. Jonathan Kennedy, a bunch of people there. Well, let me get some business out of the way. First of all, of course, you know I teach. If you'd like private lessons, you can visit my website, davefennoy.com. Click on the Study VO tab at the top and book yourself. I'll mention that again later. I just don't want to forget. One of the things, hey, Galena White, how you doing? One of the things I want to remember to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it now, is That's Voiceover and the Voice Arts Awards. Now, hey, Jonathan Kennedy, I see you, and Brian Kelly. I've had a lot of people over the years, when they're talking about getting into voiceover, and they happen upon some of the voiceover conventions. Well, hey man, should I go to these things? Will I get anything out of them? Are they just trying to take my money? What's going on? And I'm going to put it this way. The people who I see at the beginning of their careers who go to That's Voiceover, WOVO, VO Atlanta are the people I see working, because these are the people that are putting themselves in the places to learn as much as they can. They're putting themselves in the places to meet the right people. People are your best resource. If we weren't people, we'd be a river that we'd be taking each other down the stream. So I'm going to say yes. If you are having second thoughts about signing up to go to That's Voiceover and the Voice Arts Awards, maybe you don't need to go to the Voice Arts Awards, but yeah, maybe you do need to go to the Voice Arts Awards so you can see the voiceover community congratulate one another. But that's Saturday at That's Voiceover in the middle of November. If you haven't got your ticket and you want to have a voiceover career, get your ticket. Go. If you're out of town, I understand, but if you're in town, you should definitely go. And I'm going to tell you something, a lot of people from out of town, a lot of people from out of the country are going to be here from different places on the planet. And it's because you are introduced to other voice actors. You are introduced to the people who hire voice actors. You're introduced to the people who train voice actors. You're introduced to this whole community, the people who sell goods and services to voice actors. If you're not willing to put that kind of investment in your career, I don't know. I just suggest that you go. And once again, I'm going to say it. The people that I see going to the conventions, doing the training, and I'm not just talking about with me. Most of the students that I work with also work with other people, and I encourage that. And I encourage you to go to That's Voiceover this year, and the Voice Arts Awards, and to VO Atlanta, and to WOVO, which just happened, and to some of the other voiceover conventions. But my two favorite, That's Voiceover and VO Atlanta. All right, some hellos. Billy Shallerer, Betsy Zajko. Hey, Carmen Cruz Hart, Brian J. Howard, Charity James, what's going on? Kathy Tucker, Christine, Carmen. Well, I love the hellos, but let's get those questions going. And I have a question for you. What's the hardest lesson you had to learn about voiceover? The thing that was holding you back and you finally figured it out, and then things just started to work for you. Putting the cart before the horse. I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I had a gentleman offer to take me to lunch to pick my brain about how to get his voiceover career started. Nice fella. And I'd been introduced to him maybe a year or two ago, and he took my card and finally called back. To answer your question, Charity, I'll get to that in a minute. And we finally had lunch, and it's a good way. I love it when people want to take me to lunch and pick my brain about voiceover. And he had a whole notebook full of questions that he wanted to ask. And I said, okay, let's go through your questions. And most of them most of the questions he was asking, the answers that I would have given him were not going to help him move along in his career. None of them had to do with where should I get training? Who should I train with for particular genres? What do you think my kind of voice and my age, where do you think I could go in voiceover? He wanted to talk about, I do a lot of crazy voices. You want to hear one of my crazy voices? And I'm always a little disappointed when I get that. And I try to tell him straight, but I also, if you want to get some information from somebody, listen. I run into that with students from time to time. Very busy trying to explain why they did something a certain way, or wasting time telling a story instead of listening and then doing it as instructed. So make sure you listen. Your story is important to you. I've seen this happen in sessions as well, where the director says to somebody that, you need to, blah, blah, we're changing that. Oh, no, that line's going to be la, da, da. And then the person starts making excuses to the director. Well, I kind of thought that nobody cares. Our job in any project is to play our part. We're not the most important part. We're certainly not the least important part. But if you're doing a commercial and they want you to, be a little more announcery than you thought you should be, then do that. If they be a little less, then do that. Give them what they're asking for and give them what you think it should be. They'll make up their minds, and sometimes you're going to be right. Okay. Charity James asked, did I have Backyard Jazz yet? Oh, yeah. For this season, Backyard Jazz is done. We did Backyard Jazz Goes Old School R&B. We had Biscuits and Gravy, one of the premier R&B bands in town, doing everything from 70s, 80s, 90s, some things even more current, kicking butt. You couldn't help, even if you were going to sit down, you were going to be dancing in your chair because it was that good. We had some very special guests. To my surprise, Mrs. Jackson and Rebe Jackson showed up and came to Backyard Jazz. A couple people said, is that Michael Jackson's mama? I said, yeah, that's her sitting over there. You should introduce her. Well, when she came in, I said hello, and she didn't want to be introduced. She just wanted to have a good time, and so she did. But you never know who's going to show up at Backyard Jazz. We get some TV stars and movie stars and musicians and even some very good voiceover people, which, that's as hot as it gets. Anyway, Billy Schallerer. Some singers have lost their voice late in their careers. Is insurance on your voice common practice? Lloyd's of London. I used to hear hey, is your voice insured? No, my voice isn't insured. I imagine that there are singers who have their voices insured. I've heard that more with opera singers, that kind of thing. But that's a good question. How many people have them insured? I doubt very many. Just take care of your voice. One of the things that's going to happen as you age, along with everything else falling apart bit by bit, your voice is going to change. It usually gets a little deeper, a little raspier. If you smoke, it gets even more raspy. So you do have to take care of your voice. As a matter of fact, on that smoking and raspy thing, back in the day, I knew of a lot of voiceover guys who would smoke to get their voice to be raspy because it was an in thing for a while. Hey, Janet Peters, how you doing? In your car listening. That's right. Cool. Isabella Tugman joined. Good deal. I'm going to ask this again. What's the hardest lesson that you've learned on your voiceover journey about who you are, what you do, how to maneuver the world of voiceover? I'll tell you one of the things I've learned, because there have been ups and downs in my career. If you really look at it, you're going to discover, I've got ups and downs in my year, in my week, in my day. So there's definitely going to be ups and downs throughout your career. And the thing that I learned, the toughest lesson for me to learn, was I can't always control the ebb and flow, the peaks and valleys of my career. All I can do is show up and do the work, be the best that I can be. And when I've been in down times, I can't conjure up what is going to make the difference. I can do the marketing. I can knock on the doors. I can reacquaint myself with clients. I can change agents. I can do all those things, but never, ever has it turned out that when I was in a down period and was worried about, am I going to work again, so forth and so on, never was I able to predict how it would turn around. Life hands you surprises. And be ready for that. Save your money in the good times. And when it's a little slow and it doesn't seem like anything's happening, do the work. Send out those demos. Contact people. Increase your network of possible clients. Talk to your friends about what they think you can do, because sometimes somebody else is better at telling you how you should move forward than yourself when you're in a little bit of a panic, if you know what I mean. But each and every time that I was in a bind and wondering, I lost that client and nobody else has stepped forward, something else stepped up that I would have had no idea was coming. So have faith in yourself. Just keep doing the work. Control is an illusion, and perfection is subjective. Thank you, Isabella. My definition of perfection is constant improvement. We're never going to get to absolutely perfect, whatever that is, but we can always get better. Jen Henry, as a coach, how often do students try to impress you rather than allow themselves to not just listen, but be vulnerable? How to help a talent break down to allow that vulnerability so they can be a better student and, as a result, better performer? It's an interesting question. I always suggest people the first thing they should do is take classes. And one of the pluses of classes is watching somebody else when they are struggling, when they are having success. You get to hear what that teacher may be telling you too, but without having your ego on the line, standing in front of a bunch of people who are going to be judging you, and so too much of your brain power is being taken up with that. Back to the first thing you said, as a coach, how often do students try to impress you? I think students typically want to learn and they want to impress at the same time. I think people really want to be told that they're doing well, that this is working, because not so much that that's what they want to hear, but that's what they want to have happen. And especially when they don't have a foundation for what they're doing and have been struggling. People tell me I have a nice voice. I read pretty well. How come I'm not booking? How come when I listen back, I'm not liking what I'm hearing? So a lot of what people want is validation. They want to come in, give that read, and have you say, wow, that was really good. Well, I can't do that. I'm not the coach that is going to, run you down and make you feel bad, but I'm going to tell you the truth of how to be better. And sometimes it's so simple. Sometimes you're like that far away, but you've forgotten about communicating human to human. So yeah, it happens. People, I think students do want to impress you, and at the same time, they often show that vulnerability. And a lot of times, what I was talking about before, part of that vulnerability is trying to explain, well, I was trying this and I was trying that and I did this and I did that, and this script was, and it's like, you don't need to give me those explanations. Calm down. Let's keep working. All right. Nate Perkins, how you doing, man? Charity James, you can't take things personally, even though it feels personal. Oh, I'm going to read the rest of that later, but let me comment on that. You know, when you don't get booked for something, you've done an audition, you think it is really, really good. Oh, this is so me, I've got this, and then you don't get it. It's hard not to take it personal. It's especially when you're not booking, the money's not coming in, and you personally have to pay your bills. But you can't take it personally. It's not that you were rejected. Somebody else was chosen. And your opportunity, your being chosen is just around the corner. Let me keep reading that. I always suggest to actors to produce something of their own. Once they do that, they'll truly understand how you can really love a performance, but still not be able to use them. Once you see it from the other side, you can begin to lessen your grip on the disappointment of not getting a job. You know, that's very good. I spent a couple years producing some commercials and short movies, and it taught me two things. One, it's very different on the other side of the table. And two, I really am a performer. I didn't want to make all those phone calls to all those people and get the trucks and get the lighting and the cameras and the but sitting on the other side of the table and have actors come in and do their performances, and the things you notice, an actor coming in and being very nervous, an actor coming in and not making eye contact and saying hello, another form of showing discomfort, an actor coming in whose headshot was 25 because you were looking for somebody between 20 and 30, and they're 35. So it's a mess. You look great at your age, but you're still this age, not that age. I think men and women do it, but I think women do it more. The rest of that, yeah. Having been on the other side of the table is a great lesson. Because a lot of times somebody you really like, but somebody you've never met, you would have loved to have cast your friend, but somebody you've never met is a better fit. And so often, especially on camera, it's about your look. You got to be a good actor, but if you look the part, maybe you're playing somebody in a certain family, and you have to look like your son or your father or your whatever. Sometimes it's the look, and you just don't have the right look. Fortunately, in voiceover, we don't have to worry about that. But still, sometimes your performance was great, but it's an ensemble performance, and your voice sounds too similar to somebody else's, or maybe you're the female lead or female lead, and the guy you're supposed to be talking to, his voice is higher, your voice is lower or something. It could be any number of things. It could be how many Twitter followers you have. Just keep pitching. Keep doing great auditions. I know I've mentioned this before. I can't tell you how many times I've auditioned for one role and booked another because they loved the performance, but they chose somebody else to play that particular role. But, good performance, good actor. Let's have him do this role, which would fit me better. And it's hard. You got to play psychological tricks with yourself. When you hit that period where you're not booking, and you're wondering if you're ever going to book, know it's coming. Just keep doing the work. Don't get down on yourself. As long as you are doing the work, you continue to train, you continue to practice, you continue to audition. There's some things you can do to shake it up. A lot of times, maybe you've been with an agent for a while and you're not getting the auditions that you think you should get. First of all, have a conversation with that agent. I can't tell you how many times people will call me up and ask me for advice and, gee, I'm not getting the auditions I want. I want to do video games or I want to do this, TV promos, and they're just not sending me that stuff. And I said, well, have you talked to your agent? They go, no. Your agent is working for you. You're not working for your agent. Your agent wants to know the areas you want to work in so they can help you achieve what it is you want to achieve. So don't be afraid to contact your agents. Give them a call. That's what they're there for. Herb Merriweather, what's going on, man? Kayla Renee Jackson, how you doing? Aaron, Mark Aaron Gilman. Bill Lefkowitz, my neighbor. How you doing, Bill? Do we have any more questions? Come on now. I know we've got some stuff. And back to the question I'm asking you. What's the hardest lesson you've learned in voiceover? I was talking to a friend of mine not so long ago who's had a long, spotty career in voiceover. And lately, the spotty career has gotten less spotty. And I asked him, so what did you do different that you weren't doing before? And he said to me that he used to chase everything. He was trying to be everything he wasn't, everything they thought they were looking for. So here's a guy of a certain age. He's trying to play too young. He's trying to play too old. He's trying to play a whole different worldview than his own. He's not a comedian. He was trying to play it funny. And purely by accident, he says he got tired. He got tired of working so hard at chasing these various forms of these various roles that he wasn't, and just started, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to be me. And that's when he started booking. You are the secret sauce in your voiceover career. There are people who can do so many voices and do so much and make it so real, and they work and it's working for them. That may not be you. I can do a lot of different things, but I'm not that person that can just imitate any voice. I can give you a lot of different characters in a voice, but don't be jealous, envious, worried that you're not going to work because somebody else has a talent you don't have, because there's only one you. Nobody can be you. Nobody has the music of your voice, your worldview exactly. No one is you. Get to that essence of you, and I guarantee you'll start booking. And those are the people who become spokes voices. When, there's just something about your voice, something about the you that comes through, that, is solid, is real, is believable. Let's see, what did Janet Peters say here? Accepting that my voice was raspy and mature was hard to grasp. That's the hardest thing I had to accept. Glad I did, yeah. Lean into it. I had somebody, an actor, tell me once about acting, the thing that people laugh at about you, the thing that they find amazing about you, whatever it is about you that people notice, that's the thing that's going to make you money. Think of the number of character actors you see on television and in movies that they seem to have a shtick, one thing. But we keep seeing them and seeing them and seeing them time and time again in movies and television shows, and we love them because they bring that one thing. Oh, that guy's she's and we love it. Let's see, AJ Moulier. Embrace your natural self. Love it. Absolutely. TJ Jones, what's going on, man? Erica Muller, good to see you. You got to be cool. No, you don't have to be cool. You can be You can be what you are. Malik Watson, was there a situation going a different direction on script analysis worked out? That's a very good question. I was working with a student today, and a lot of times I'm working with a script that the description of the character may be very specific. But what I try to do is say, well, these words will work with a lot of different people of a different age, different ethnicity, different educational level, whatever. I want you to play the character as you. We can try the character a little closer to exactly what they're asking for, but let's play the character as you. And sometimes in the script analysis, it's not so much that I will change the script analysis, I will change how my character reacts to the script analysis. I may be feeling the same things, but where they said that, this character is angry. Well, most people are going to approach anger as loud. But anger doesn't have to be loud. Anger could be right here. And a lot of times, since when that audition goes in, most of the people are going to play their anger loud. And now here you come with this very controlled and makes them sit up and take notice. Now, the reason to do that is not to make them sit up and take notice. The reason to do that is to play the character in a way that brings the truth of the character uniquely. But you always want to bring the truth of the character. Those are the kinds of things. What is the situation? Very often you get an audition and they haven't given you what all the parameters are of what just happened. Why is this character saying this? Where is the character? How many people are they talking to? And that gives you an opportunity to bring your own special thing to it. And what I would suggest in those situations is really paint the picture for yourself. Talking with on-camera actors who want to do voiceover, especially video games, when they want to, a lot of them feel a little handicapped because they feel like tools have been taken away from them. They're not working with another actor, so that energy is missing. They're not in costume. What's the old Jack Nicholson line? Let the clothes do the acting. They don't have blocking and the movement that is going to color how you say what you say. All they have, they feel, are the words on the page and a microphone. Well, you have to invent it up here. You have to see where you are. What just happened that you're saying what you're saying? Where are you sitting? And the more specific you can make that, the more specific your read will be. And if you're not sure who your character is, nobody else will be. All right, Randy Thomas joined. Great talent, great teacher. Hello, Christina Smith, Vicky Collier, Carol, Thomas. Yes, you did. Sandra Patterson Dyson. Just the other day, I was in a funk about my voice acting. Auditioning, not booking. I said, maybe I'm not good enough. And then I said, I'm good enough. They just like someone else. I sent in an audition for the Spotify audition at Sova's, and I'm in the top 30. Well, there you go. For the second round. You're so right. Just wait. You're so right. Just wait. Something will come along to boost your confidence. All right, should have been a comment there. You're right, comma. Just wait, comma. Something will come along to boost your confidence. Yeah, just, I don't want to create prima donnas in you or myself or anybody, but know your worth. Know what you do. Know that when I step up here, I can knock this out. Doesn't mean you're going to get booked, but you can look, I'm bringing Dave Fennoy. Hey, you want this stuff right? Call me. I'll make it right for you. Still might not be what they book, but they'll take notice. They'll go, that was good. And guess what they're choosing from when they get down to that final 5, that final 10? They're choosing from some really great reads. If you made it to callback, you're doing something. You're doing well. Just keep doing that. You will get booked. Sorry about the punctuation. No worries. We're all tweeting and messaging and going with the thumbs and stuff, and sometimes the punctuation as well as the spelling. So how many times have you used a W for a with? Yeah, all the time. Me too. Mark T, how you doing? Randy Morrison, what's going on? Speaking of Randy Morrison, I have to remind you of Connection Open. Little by little, that little train is going to get there. We're making it. We had some problems with, he would better tell you, but the connectivity sometimes goes down because there's so much stuff going on. And when your system, Connection Open, was running as fast as it was, as cleanly as it was, there were a few places it was having problems, but most of those have been cleaned up now. And I tell you, when I use Connection Open, man, it is as clean as a bell, clean as a whistle, clean as my mother's floor, because you could eat off my mama's floor. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, so we've got to have some other questions here. What's going on? Malik Watson, I've seen voice actors have representation in multiple agencies in the country and world. With video work being worldwide, I understand the importance. Are there any other reasons for being in multiple agencies? Well, the old saying, you want to throw as much stuff up in the air as possible, and throw it up on the ceiling and throw a lot of it because some of it's going to stick. You want to have agencies in multiple places because not all the opportunities are going to come to just one place. You have agencies that specialize in one thing. There are agencies that may not get any video games because of where they're located, but maybe they're getting lots and lots of commercial. They may not be getting lots of commercial, but maybe they're getting lots of TV promos, or not all the agencies get as much narration as some other places. So one of the reasons also is to cover local clients. So there are local businesses here in Los Angeles, say a chain of car dealerships, a chain of grocery stores that may not be in New York or Dallas or some other places. And you won't have an opportunity to audition for those local and regional chains if you're not represented locally or regionally. So although you are going to run into the blessing curse of getting the same auditions from different agents, you'll also run into the blessing of being able to work in markets that you might not have if you only have an agent in one market. And as for what's the protocol when you're getting the same commercial or same auditions from different agents in different places, my idea, my thought, what I do is I always put my local agent first. And sometimes I have to call. Maybe I'll get a video game audition from an agent from out of town, and I might recognize it as this is going to be kind of big. Let me call my agent and find out, are they going to be sending this one out? Because not all agencies get their auditions at the same time or get them out at the same time. So you got to play the protocol. And then I have to, tell some agents sometimes, you know what, I got this from this agent, and so I'm not going to be sending it in, because don't just not send it. Christina Smith, great advice. Len Gallagher, how you doing? Hey, have we got anything else? Any other questions? Anybody else have something to share about something they had to overcome? A lesson they had to learn that changed the game for them? No? Well, I'm going to go back to one of the things I mentioned there in the beginning. That's voiceover. It's coming next month. No, nobody is paying me. to recommend this to you, just like you're not paying me to watch this now. I bring it up for your benefit. The people who put themselves in the places where other voice actors are, other voice teachers are, agents are, those are the people that I see that work. The people that I have run into at their first convention, their second convention, or conventions over and over, are the people who work. Yeah, it's worth it. You have no idea how much just being in the water that we make up, the voiceover community, how much your spirit is enhanced, how much you're going to learn without even knowing you're learning it. You're taking it in by osmosis. Just being there. You've got producers, you've got voice actors, you've got casting directors, you've got marketing people, you've got manufacturers of things we want, like the Chaotica eyeball and microphones and various equipment and vocal booths and whisper rooms. There's so much there that you can learn. Sitting at home with your microphone and your copy in your booth, we have to do that a lot by the nature of the business we're doing. So every chance you can get to be in the crowd of us, and when I say us, I'm not just talking about the actors, I'm talking about all those other people that I was talking about, is going to benefit you. I promise you. So be in LA, or you can get a ticket, go to That's Voiceover. Then go to the Voice Arts Awards. Speaking of which, you have heard me comment about my love of audiobooks. You have heard me say, I have voiced 3 audiobooks, and I hope to never voice another. Well, I'm nominated for Voice Arts Awards for an audiobook. And worse, one of the reasons I don't really want to do audiobooks, it's too much work for not enough money. And please, audiobook narrators, I'm not saying this to insult you, it's just me. And I know a lot of people that love doing it, a lot of people who don't. I'm one of those people who do not love doing audiobooks. And this particular audiobook, I did for free because of the subject matter. So it's kind of funny to me that I was nominated for an audiobook that I didn't get paid for when I don't like doing audiobooks. Anyway, I guess we're going to wrap it up a little bit early. Once again, private lessons, yes. DaveFennoy.com. Click on the click on the Study VO button. People keep asking me about demos. The only ones I'm working on now are video game demos. And I'm open to a discussion if you are further along. If you're just starting in video games, we'd have to work together for a little while before I would be willing to do your demo. But got some coming down the pike I'm kind of proud of. And what was the last thing? I guess the last thing is, I will not be here next Wednesday. As you know, somebody asked about Backyard Jazz. I have concerts during the spring, summer, and early fall, and raise money for the Watts Willowbrook Youth Symphony. And next Wednesday, there is an event celebrating that. Not the Backyard Jazz, but celebrating the kids at the Watts Willowbrook Youth Symphony and our donors and other folks. And I'm going to be hosting that. So I won't be able to be here. But the following Wednesday, I will be. And wait a minute, I got one more because you guys often say so much good stuff. Charity James, I had to learn to take my other hats off when doing a job. I'm not the producer or director or client. I'm the VO, And even though I might hear a job a certain way, oh God, this is such great advice. Charity, so great. I have to be willing to be of service to the project as an actor. So true, so true, so true. And I've been in the same position. You're in the booth, you're thinking it should go a certain way, and you're wondering, well, why does this director want? Why is he trying to direct me in this direction? We ought to be going in that direction. When you're the actor, you need a director. You are part of the project. You are not the project. Be willing to give them what it is they're asking for. By the same token, be careful of the director who tries to direct you out of yourself. We all have range. As long as it's within your range and you can bring it honestly, bring it. We are cogs in the machine, as it were. Anyway, all the best. Once again, not going to be here next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday I will. Get your tickets for That's Voiceover. You're going to love it. You're going to find value in it. I promise you. And I will be there. Happy to see you there. And I'll see you not this next Wednesday, but the next. All the best. Bye, everybody.